Before you get out of here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. I've asked the wonderful Councilwoman Bradshaw to give us our prayer and pledge. Please stand.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today and we just thank you for your goodness. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for all that you give us and all the blessings that we have and where we live and this ability to be able to meet here peacefully tonight. And so, God, we just pray over this agenda. We ask that you give us wisdom as we discuss all of these things that we have before us today. And, God, that you just continue to bless each of us in this room and to continue to be with this community, because we know that you're for Pryor just as well as you are for each of us. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If we could please have roll call.
Lamar,
Here.
Shropshire,
Here.
Bradshaw,
here.
Rashears,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Trammell,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
I have one petition from the audience, and that is Miss Charlene Kendrick. Did you? That's perfectly fine.
Split our 5 minutes. So.
That's all right.
Okay, thank you for giving us this time. My name's Barbara Drum, and I'm representing the Pryor Creek Sertoma Club. And we are sponsoring the 76th anniversary of the Sertoma Miss Mays County Scholarship Pageant. It will be held Saturday, March 7th at 6 p.m. at the Avra Performing Arts Center. The pageant this year will award over $5,000 in scholarships to help the contestants pursue their educational goals. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. We want to invite all of you to attend, bring a friend, and help us in celebrating these girls and supporting the work that Sertoma does for seniors in the Mays County area. And now I'll turn this over to Richard Bradshaw, our president.
Hey, some of you know me, I'm Richard Bradshaw. Yes, sir. President of the Sertoma Club and the senior citizen. This is my second go-around. We do a lot of things that you don't know about. We have free transportation. We have a van that runs every day taking people all over town free. We serve free meals. We have health care. We have bingo. We have all this stuff going on. And our mission was, and it still is, the seniors and the city of Pryor. We couldn't make it without the city of Pryor. I thank you personally for each one of you. So over the years, you have supported us, backed us, give us things when we needed it, and it's just been a real blessing to us to do this. So we are going on with this, our mission. This is the 76th year for this passion. If each one of you need to be there and get a ticket. You better get there early because they're selling out. I couldn't get the Pulse. Somebody bought them all. The papers, I mean, it's really getting excited. The city of Pryor is getting excited about what's going on in Pryor. It's time. Pryor's been a secret for too many years. I moved here in 70, started a business in 70. So I've been here I've seen it way before Google even thought about this place. But anyway, we thank you, and we thank the Pulse. They put something on the front page that has never happened that I know of. It's awesome. It's just wonderful. I can see the excitement going on. Anyway, I don't have any more to talk, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You. Well, we appreciate that. Stop work. All right, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. We are going to kind of jump around a little bit. I'm going to request any items that need to be pulled. I'm going to pull E, obviously. Okay, if there's none other, then we will get a motion to approve A through I, with the exception of E.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
MUB is wrapping up their meeting right now, and Jared had asked to come up for item E, so we'll give him a few minutes. We'll jump down to the mayor's report. Item A, discussion and possible action to accept a bid in the amount of $312,336 from Yamaha Golf Cart Company for the purchase of 60 new golf carts, 3 utility carts at the Pryor Creek Golf Course in the best interest of the city. One other bid was received from Clear Creek Golf Cart and utility vehicles in the amount of $237,345.
Motion.
Motion from Choya,
Second.
second from Brashears. Discussion.
Did they say why they wanted the Yamaha over Clear Creek?
We've got Dennis here, so we're gonna,
And also one other thing, what's the account number that would be associated with this purchase?
that was 41451,
415-5413.
yes.
Jessica goes memorized?
No, just deal with the same
Text.
one, don't know.
What was that again?
Yes, we do.
Well, the first clarification on it all is, none of this is coming from tax dollars.
Correct.
Correct. The
Correct.
golf course, where does the golf course get its income?
Sorry?
Its revenue? The golf course gets its revenue from what?
It's income, yeah. We generate our own income and we pay all of our expenses out of our revenue we generate, and we do all of our capital expenditures out of that.
All right, well, I just had a lot of questions about it, so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that.
Sure, absolutely.
But go ahead with the bids, the difference between the two.
So, the golf course has been very successful with what we've been doing out there, but the difference in the bids is Club Car bid their cart, Yamaha bid their top-of-the-line cart, which is a Quiet Tech cart. So that's what we have right now. And when we went from electric to gas, you know, the board wanted a quiet cart. They didn't want a loud cart out there, so, because, you know, you got a bunch of carts. So that's why we went with the Yamaha the last time. So we spec'd it to, I guess, the engineer, he kind of changed the specs the way he wanted to, which Yamaha could have bid a less quality cart, didn't have the quiet technology on it, but they didn't do that because that's not what our interest was at the time. So the park board, they're the ones that made the decision. I told them it's totally up to them. It doesn't matter to me either way. I want to have new carts. I need carts. I've got a lot of tournaments coming up, and every tournament, I think I got 2 to 3 in March, and it's probably going to, 60 carts versus 50 is going to generate another $1,000 a day. So it can, you know, it's going to really increase. I know, and Bernie's here with Club Car. He can probably answer any Club Car questions. From my studies, Yamaha's about 25% more fuel efficient. So that's quite a
Would you
few.
be trading in any of these?
Yes, we're trading in all of ours.
So,
Our 50 carts will get traded in.
so does that take anything off the bid amount for
It does.
312?
135,000.
Yeah. And that was interesting. Both Club Car and Yamaha had come up with the same trade-in price for our carts.
So what would so the final amount would be under 200, but what about the amount from Clear Creek?
That is the final.
Clear
amount.
Creek is
Oh, that is the
237.
final amount.
This amount has the,
The original was 447 for
Okay.
one, 372 for the
Okay,
other.
yeah.
So what's the difference in decibels?
The noise difference, you know, I think it's about from 60 to 70, which is what they say is being in kind of a quiet room to being in a very loud room.
To be real honest with you, I'm not trying to be anyway right here, but I've got a decibel meter running right here, and us talking in here
Yeah.
is bumping 70.
Right.
So it couldn't be terribly loud. It's not like running a chainsaw or something.
No, but
It's
you know,
a
when you
American
have
problem is what it is.
2 or 3 carts in a group, and like I said, the park board, they're the ones that made this decision, and, I did have Club Car, they were nice enough to bring a cart out in Yamaha, and you could hop in them and see the difference, and several of the park board members did, so.
I've got a few questions. Why was not, as the department head, why is the bid packet and specs not in our packet to study for this consideration tonight? Several other department heads, when they make big purchases in our packet, we always have the information about that in detail. Why was we not included in this time?
I think that's
Other
been
than just
put out in
the-
the past, and it just wasn't included this time, so.
Okay.
It's all been on Jay's desk, or all of those have been and always will be, so.
Okay. Other than, what is your real justification? Well, let me ask this, what's the pros and cons, and then what is your justification of why we should go with something that's or approximately $75,000 higher?
It's the park board made the decision, not me, so.
I would think,
But for the best interest of the city
You're right,
government, the city
right, I understand.
government, why the Yamaha over that? What's the?
I also don't
the
think it's
best
fair for you to put this on the park board. I think that I remember watching the meetings where you were advocating one for the Yamaha stronger than the other, so I don't think
Yeah.
it's fair to put it on the backs of the park board.
I'm
You're trying to use your
explain-
recommendation, but
Right, I'm gonna explain it, yep. So, we have the Yamaha Quiet Techs now. Like I said, we went with the Quiet Tech. We could've went with the less expensive Yamaha cart a long time ago. We went to Quiet Tech because we wanted the quiet noise out there, and it's a noticeable difference. That's why we brought the carts up here for everybody to try out, and, so I think I emailed everybody, got an email to try it, so that's a big difference. Yamaha does get 25% more, better fuel economy. We did a test on it, not the recent test, but the last time we did a test, and it was a noticeable amount. And I called a guy today in Arkansas, and he says for him, it's a huge savings, the fuel efficiency. He's had both. I haven't had the club car. So, I have drove them before, but I have never had one that we managed a fleet of, so.
Club cars are also aluminum framed, right?
Yeah, club cars are aluminum framed, they're a little bit lighter. He can tell you more about the club car than I can, but, you know, as far as I know, the benefit, you know, we trade our cars off every 5 years or so anyway, so we've never had a frame issue, whether it was Easy Go or Yamaha. You know, we don't keep them long enough. Now, if you as a homeowner, you want to keep one for 20 years, I think it's probably a huge benefit to have an aluminum frame, especially if you have batteries with the and everything. But now they even have the other batteries, so you don't have to deal with the acid problems.
Which one has the higher resale value?
Well, again, you're not comparing apples to apples, but the Yamaha Quiet Tech, it's really hard to go online and find, hey, compare this apple to that apple. And, but I talked to a guy today, he says Yamaha's about $1,000 more if it's a Quiet Tech. I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Well, I watched the park board meeting, and I thought there was this, I'm pretty positive there was some discussion that it was mentioned, I thought by you, but maybe one of the park board members, that the club car had a higher resale value.
I haven't seen that myself.
I believe the mayor spoke about that in the
Yeah.
council meetings.
If you do a Google search and you put in the two
Okay.
models,
All right.
Jim and I will tell you that.
And was the park board, how many members was present at the park board meeting?
I think just 4.
And not the whole group?
Right.
Why did they not want to put this off until the majority, or everybody was there?
We're running out of time. I've got a lot of events coming up, and, you know, that's a big thing. We started this back in, I think, June.
And
Approaching the park board,
was
so-
it unanimous?
No, I think we had 1 no vote and 3 yeses.
Okay.
Mr. Bowman, my observation of this whole thing is, for $70,000, you can give everybody a set of earplugs.
And a lot of gas.
Yeah, yeah. That's,
I think it's foolish to waste $70,000 just on because of brand name.
well, it's,
Noise, I mean, how bad is noise on the golf course out in the country?
right,
If you're really worried about noise, you got electric ones anyway.
yeah. The, and it's not $70,000. You have to take in the 25% fuel savings, which is, my calculations over the 5 years would be about $28,000 to $30,000 of fuel savings.
Well, I think if I read it right, 80% of the golf carts in Oklahoma are electric.
Yeah.
So if you want to save money and be quiet, let's get electric and forget the gasoline ones. But right now, we're talking about gasoline ones, and I think we need to have the cheaper one, not the more expensive one. That'd be kind of foolish.
And it, like I said, it doesn't really matter to me if that's the direction y'all want to go. I mean, I perfectly understand, and, you know, it's, we've had a good deal going. We've made good money out there. We've had good response from our customers with what we've been doing with the carts and stuff, so, but we want to change. I'm all good with it.
Well, let me ask this, because of the large price difference, what further projects could an extra 70 or so grand, give or take?
Yeah, I told the park board, yeah, we could buy the GPS system for that, you know.
Well, any other improvements, repairs, upgrades to anything on the golf course? Like how much, what could be, I know we've done a lot out there.
Yeah, we have a whole list of capital improvements in a priority list, so,
It's kind of a perpetual thing.
yeah,
It's-
yeah.
There's always going to be.
So you just mentioned GPS. Are you gonna purchase GPS eventually?
Yeah, we'd like to purchase GPS, after we figure out which carts we go with.
What would that gain for a golfer?
You know, we get a lot of out-of-town people, so the GPS provides them a map of where they're going, and it shows them the yardages on the hole, you know, wherever you're at, it gives them the distances to the flag.
I'm going to show my ignorance here, which is really not that hard to do, but I'm going to show it anyway.
Yeah.
Can you get an app on your phone to do the same thing?
Yeah, on the GPS you can. The
Okay.
biggest thing it does for us in the golf pro shop to regulate the carts is, one, when it's cart pass only, we set up a geofencing, and you can keep the carts on the pass, so even though you tell people it's cart pass only, then they get off, and they get through the mud, and they create problem areas.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of control. It gives us more control knowing where the cart's at. You know, sometimes golfers will hop from, hole 13 back to 4 or something, you know. They hop around. There's a little bit of control there. All the area golf courses have went to GPS systems. I know Claremore does, Wasso does. It's really a good feature.
It does a lot more than
Is
just,
Owasso and Claremore a municipal-owned golf course or private?
Both of them are municipal owned. Well, Claremore is like half county and half city. And then Owasso is municipal.
We don't have GPSs now, right?
No, that's something we haven't added.
So
That
you
would be
got
another
Run around
conversation.
lost all the time on the golf course, running over each other.
Dennis,
speak.
is that something you charge extra for?
Definitely running over each other.
It's something that we could raise our prices for because it's a nicer amenity.
to pay for the,
Right.
okay.
I'll speak on behalf of the GPSs. It does help keep pace of play on track, which is a huge problem.
Yeah,
And
it is.
I get it, golf's a luxury,
Yeah.
but when you're going out there, you don't want to spend 5.5, 6 hours playing around the golf. And being able to follow the people around, it does help keep them on track for that. And it does keep them out of areas that you don't want them to go in, because the cart will die, you have to put it in reverse. It's an inconvenience. You learn to start playing where you're supposed to play, or driving where you're supposed to drive. You may not play where you're supposed to, but drive where you're supposed to drive.
It gives the pro shop total control of the carts. It'll send messages if somebody's playing too slow, or if they break down, they can send messages to the shop. You know, it's a lot of good communication.
So I guess my question then is that something, if you go with the Yamahas, is the GPS gonna have to wait then? Or if you get the, other car, would you be able to go ahead and get it? And then, I mean, I guess it's, or would you be able to get this either way?
I think so. That's, that's the way the park board was talking, that they would probably want to do it either way.
Either way?
I Googled the decibels. It's 60 and a half on the Quiet Tech for the Yamaha, and it's set around 90 for the club car.
What was that first one?
90's like a concert.
That's what it said. I don't know.
I know, but I put it, it's included in our bid specs. It is.
See, we didn't get those, though.
I have copies. It's 68 to 70.
On the club car? Okay.
So they're comparable.
And as far as the fuel consumption goes, they both get 45 miles to a gallon, so.
So there's not a 25% advantage.
And at the meeting, Dennis, you said, and you said it again a while ago, that you really, doesn't really matter to you?
It does not
As
matter.
long as you get some new golf carts.
Yes, sir. Yes. I'm gonna have new golf carts, and we get 60 of them, we're gonna be.
Who had the motion?
I did.
Do you want to?
I'll change my motion
I'll
and go
change.
with the club cars.
And I'll change the second.
What's the estimated delivery? Oh, you're,
When, it depends on when a purchase order is given, but if I was to get a purchase order tonight, I could literally have them here in less than 3 weeks.
Very good.
So that's 60 and 3, right?
I'm sorry?
60 and 3? 60 carts and 3 utility carts?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I have one question. We said we're not bidding apples to apples. We're comparing apples to oranges. Typically, when we send something out for bid, it should be apples to apples. So what is different in these two to say that they're not comparable, I guess?
What's different is Yamaha bid their higher end cart, which is a Quiet Tech.
Okay.
They have a lesser cart that they could have bid, doesn't have the Quiet technology on it and is louder. And,
So basically what you're saying is like bidding a Ford versus a Lincoln.
probably,
Like-
yeah.
They all got the same bid packet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the main difference we're talking about is noise level? Is that in the difference in the carts?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. For me, that's a hard sell to the citizens even though it's capital money from your all's account, like it's hard to say that 75,000 is better spent.
On earplugs.
Hey, I got enough Pryor stickers. We can label them up.
You can do that. Yeah. You gotta get them marked.
So we have a motion change and a second.
Yes.
Yep. Call for a vote?
We'll call for the vote. Yep.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Bradshaw?
Yes.
Rushiers?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
yes.
Okay.
Got you 60 golf
Got you some
carts.
golf carts.
Awesome, thank you.
Item B, discussion and possible action to accept a lease purchase quote for 60 new golf carts and 3 utility carts for a 48-month term. Quotes received Bank of Commerce at a rate of 3.98% and RCB at a rate of 4.48%. Do you have a motion?
I'll make it.
I have a motion from Troy and a second from Charles. Discussion?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
These interest rates and the number of the institutions that bid is completely different than what was approved at a park board meeting a couple of months ago. Why the change, and why is Winter Bank left off, and why have they changed?
so-
Because one is now the lower bidder.
Right.
That wasn't before.
So we had to go back out for different rates because those numbers had changed from the last time with the duration.
And their bids had expired.
Okay, I understand that, and I know fluctuation, but for clarification,
Yep.
Right.
it was
They had-
different than what the park board had.
I can't remember which ones it was. So one of them had 30 days, one of them 60 days, but
Okay.
it was already past all that time.
And they were only like a couple hundredths of a percent off of each other too, so
Right.
that's, but anyways.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? All right, we'll call for the vote.
Bradshaw? Yes. Bashirs?
Yes.
Tyler?
What is the motion? What are we approving?
As written.
Which one?
B.
The Bank of Commerce.
Okay,
3
thank you.
point.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Steve?
Abstain.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Thank you. Is Jared out there in the hallway? Okay. Item C, discussion and possible action to terminate a contract with Time Clocks Plus, also known as TCP, term ending March 31st, 2026. Written notice required by contract 30 days prior to renewal.
Before we make a motion, can I just ask a clarification? Why are we waiting on MUB representatives to discuss something that they only bill
Because-
for?
Because they asked to be a part of that, and we're waiting on them to wrap up their meeting. So they just,
But why?
because they asked to be a part of the discussion. Do I have a motion for item C?
Motion.
I have a motion from Steve Brown,
Second.
second from Kenneth Brashears. I'm going to hand this one over to Hannah to explain. She's done a lot of work on this.
Well, we're pretty excited that it's another, excuse me,
Thank you.
it's another piece to the puzzle for our payroll. Currently, we have TCP, and we have to do a lot of stuff to try to get the time over into Paylocity. This module will give us, let me go back. Our contract is just about to renew, March 31st. We've got to tell them within 30 days if we're not going to go with them or we've messed up. So in doing so, we had already been talking with Paylocity, and so the timing works out. Paylocity's time and labor module, it works seamlessly from there to our payroll. I visited with all of the department heads, and I talked to them about what it would cost to do time clocks with Paylocity, and then the other options of how to clock in. So you use their software, you clock in with a tablet, a laptop, or your phone app. It's geo-fenced. So the police love that. They can geo-fence it and get going. Even the golf course uses that type of stuff. I went through and talked to all of them, and they were all on board because it does actually save their departments cash. And that's what I was worried about, was causing them to have any more troubles with their cash flow. Secondly, it will make payroll just work better, and it's all gonna go across. So if you guys decide so, it's gonna save us some time. And it's gonna save money because TCP is about 15,000 annually, and this is gonna run just under 10.
And it will integrate with the Paylocity stuff we already have?
Yeah, 'cause
And
it's
then what about time
Paylocity's-
adjustments?
The time adjustment,
So when an employee misses or when they didn't clock in or out on time,
it'll still be a lot like what we're doing now. We have a system that we make sure they're taken care of.
is it
And the
gonna,
department heads make sure and watch it.
is it gonna require a bunch of training for the employees to?
It'll be a little bit, but it's a lot like what TCP is, so it won't be too tough on them. We've already told them that we'd go to the departments and give them run-throughs and get together.
And it will
Needed.
fit with, PD's pretty standard schedule now, but if they had a 12-hour schedule or like the fire department's 24-hour schedule, it'll go in with all of that.
Yes. We're gonna put it, after the collective bargaining agreements are complete, we upload those agreements, and then the time is set off of those agreements. So that's why we'd like you guys to be really set on what you decide on, so it's not so unique.
So this is
Cool.
gonna be better and cheaper, right?
Yeah,
That's what we're after. That's not like a winner.
How's it getting better?
We did bring it up in our department head meeting this week, and I'm gonna tell you, every department head was 100% behind it, except for Carrie, but her representation was here. And just for clarification's sake, but I think it'll be a better system to integrate with what we've invested in over the last year, and so
No earplugs required.
Carrie, why did you boycott that particular meeting?
We had a stomach bug at my house.
You're good.
Zoom.
So, all right. Is there any further discussion on that? If not, we'll call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Discussion and possible action to hire Jackson Palma Brandstetter.
What about D?
Oh, I'm sorry, I circled D and I went right on past it, I apologize. All right, discussion and possible action to purchase time and labor software from Paylocity not to exceed $10,000 to be paid from general software account 02-201-5260 to replace Time Clocks Plus, TCP.
Motion.
I have a motion from Kenneth and a second from Steve Brown. Discussion? This is the software that goes with the previous item.
When, I know that our contract on the last one ends March 31, but are we looking at implementing this?
I have a call with Paylocity if you guys approved it tomorrow to get started.
Okay.
So it's probably gonna be pretty quick.
I'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Sorry about that, guys. All right, now item E, discussion and possible action to hire Jackson Palma Brandstetter as B operator at the Street Department, Range C, Step 1, to fill a vacancy created by the termination of Justin Wallace.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion from Joya and a second from Bradshaw. Discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote.
Tyler,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yep.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers.
Yes.
We're going to go back up to item E and proceed of the consent agenda. Discussion and possible action on approval of a 3% rate increase from Pryor Waste and Recycling LLC for all refuse pickup beginning March 1st, 2026, consistent with the mutual agreement of October 2007.
Motion to discuss, but no action.
Second.
I have a motion to discuss with no action. Bruce, are you,
Second.
as he said it? Okay. I have invited Dinsmore with Waste and Recycling and former Mayor Trammell to come up and give us some background on this contract.
My son Brian.
Yep.
He's the manager at the transfer station, and Matt Copeland, he's our office manager and dispatcher.
You guys will come on up here. I'm sure there'll be some questions. Just give us the background on how this contract came, what it is, and why it is the way it is, please.
You want to start? 'Cause I'm long-winded.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know where to begin. You know, we've kind of, there's rising costs in everything we do. I mean, last year, we didn't ask for a raise. And then in June, we got bit with a 10% increase in disposal. And usually every summer, we're going to get hit sometime with an increase. There's only 3 locations to go with trash. And we use semi-trucks to truck it. We do that for several reasons. We try to operate, it's our intent, to operate as efficient as we possibly can. And one of the reasons why, whenever I got involved, thanks to this guy, I had been with International Trucks for over 30 years. And then I went to Freightliner, become a vocational marketing manager for Oklahoma. My forte was work trucks. Giardia, whether it's Giardia, the city of Pryor, the city of Tulsa, so forth, so on. It was work trucks. And so the refuse industry had changed to the point that it wasn't so much about the pickup, it was about the transport. And when I sit down, I figure how much it costs to transport a ton of trash a mile. Unfortunately, where we have we used to go to the burn plant, and that was our source of recycling, and we did it for many years. And they took and burned the trash to generate steam and create electricity. The burn plant become old, had a lot of issues, boilers, and so forth and so on. They really catered to the city of Tulsa, and they just kind of slowly pushed us out. We go now to 171st Street West, and we dispose there. That is one of the best locations in Oklahoma. They pull methane gas out, run generators, power about 80,000 homes. They're environmentally, as far as DEQ is concerned, they love it because they have a great landfill. One of the things that I have, being on the council myself and chairing the sanitation department and also the street department and whatever else Lucy Bell could get me on, one of the things that we made sure of is that the city, per EPA and DEQ, is responsible for the trash from cradle to grave. Not 1 year, not 10 years, not 100 years, forever. So if there's an environmental issue, they can come back on City of Pryor. It's my responsibility to make sure that that's legal. If you ask me where City of Pryor's trash went, let's say June the 20th, 2011, I can pull documents and show you where that trash went. So we make sure that we are very efficient, and we make sure that we dispose legally and properly. Another thing is the transfer station. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. I bit off there were many times I bit off more than I could chew. That man right there knows how difficult the trash business can be. And there was days that we started that transfer station. I'm dry. I'm chewing too much gum. When I started the trash business, there was a lot of issues with having trash picked up. I tried to help for 2 years. The transfer station was not completed, and when we took over, I had to buy new equipment. And what happened, and I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of your thunder.
I could care less.
What happened was when this gentleman kept calling me, and he said, we are getting bombarded with complaints, bombarded. I've got letters from Terry Hill, which everybody knows Terry. She wrote a letter, and she said we were just, the utility office was just spent tremendous amount of time with all these complaints. And Jimmy kept after me. He wanted me to retire and wanted to start a sanitation department. And I said, Jimmy, you can't do that. I said, transporting trash and running trucks and hiring drivers and so forth and so on. I said, that's not the city's expertise. So, do I have 5 minutes?
No, you're good.
You were hoping.
Yeah, but anyway, so what happened was that I went to Ken Prather, the CPA at the time, and Pryor, been here for years. And I asked Ken to sit down and work with me with the budget. And we sat down, and whenever Pryor decided to contract out, the rate was $7.57 for twice a week pickup. Whenever I took over, it was $10.50. Jimmy had done some research, found a large company that was willing to come in here and haul the trash for $16 a house. He called me. He said, Dinsmore, I raise these people from $10.50 to $16, they'll hang me. And one thing led to another, and I said, Jimmy, I don't have the financing capability of buying all new trucks and so forth. First priority, Gary Schammel, and along with Terry and Andy Richards, we put together a way of being able to borrow the money. Matter of fact, I paid off that loan 3 years ago. that transfer station was expensive. And let me tell you about the transfer station. Lucy Bell Schultz is one that won the transfer station. And they had the Dog Pound Road area, and it was receiving tremendous amount of complaints from DEQ to DEQ. We shut that down, and Jim Hines built that transfer station. He had other areas that he was trying to locate in, but the problem is whenever you put in a landfill or transfer station, you have to hold a public hearing. And every time he found a location, people didn't want it in their backyard. And so what happened was the old landfill was the only place that did not have a house within that mile. So whenever the notice went out and we had a public hearing, nobody attended because nobody qualified to be within that area. The landfill is a difficult place to build on, and there's only two things you can do with the landfill. You can graze cattle on it, or you can build a transfer station. You can't build a business. You can't even bale the hay. And so what happened is he built on the transfer station, but that thing is constantly sinking, settling. And so he had to drive H-beams all the way down to the bedrock, and that transfer station is suspended, tremendously expensive. And we maintained that whole area, and we cleaned it up, pulled all the thorn trees out.
Thistle.
And Randy Drake sprayed this for the thistle, because thistle, you've got to control it. It's a requirement by the Agriculture Department. And we cleaned it up, and we still are filling in holes to where we can mow it. A lot of concrete pipe and everything, and so the landfill has been a nightmare to manage, but we do it. And basically what we have had agreement with for a long time, the activity, the things that the city sponsors and has, we charge nothing for. If the cemetery comes out with a load of flowers and needs to throw them away, there's no charge. We pick up the trash on Main Street on Saturday mornings at 4 o'clock. We charge nothing. And Zach has called me several times. We bring roll-offs for Main Street, Pryor. We've done a lot to help in a lot of ways, but when it comes to city operation, even MUB, we don't charge anything for that. But anyway, I could go on. It's been a challenge, and the 3%, through the years, it'll be 18 years come April the 8th of this year, and we've climbed a lot of mountains, and we feel like we have great service. What we did was that my office manager today ran a cost analysis of our surrounding towns that have a close population. And it kind of shows you what, and I'll explain this a little bit more in detail.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you.
We've been through this before.
Hadn't we? Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, we have.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, we're stuck together and I'm shaking.
That's okay.
Thank you.
And what that explains, Pryor is extremely unique. Twice a week pickup is almost totally unheard of. Per contract, it explains exactly how many gallons can be set out. And they're allowed, what it boils down to, they're allowed 4 32-gallon containers. And they can include 2 bags of leaves, vegetation, flowers, clean out a garden, to banana plants or whatever. And then you also can have a bundle of sticks that's 4 foot long and tied. And that's that's per contract since 1989, that's what we pick up. Now, to say we're perfect, no. You know, we don't do everything perfectly, but that shows you what the trash that is available with what people can set out within the city limits. That's what the cost is per gallon. And,
Well, I can tell you one thing, at Christmas time, when we had family in and stuff like that, and we had a whole bunch more than what here, there never was a word said. You just picked it up and that was it.
yeah.
There's your
Yeah.
water. You want me to open it for you? You want me to open it for you?
What's that?
Water.
Oh, thank you. I looked at that. I thought maybe you drank out of it, and I
No.
didn't want to drink out of it.
For clarification, well,
I'm
you
gonna
guys are still
let
giving history. so
Jimmy
I'll let-
take over from here.
Okay.
I just pretty much wanted to, you know what,
I'll start that, once this thing started and council was here, we were Jim Hines Sanitation. He had trucks. He was dumping trash out there on Dog Pound Road, out there in that spot, out there by, there's a cemetery out there, Pauper Cemetery out there. Okay, we'll all remember that. He was dumping trash on the ground, not hauling it off. Okay, it was a bad deal. His trucks wouldn't run, he couldn't get them running, and so we started looking, because the complaints were just unbelievable. We started looking and, about places to go. DEQ was on our tail. Oklahoma Water Resources were on our tail, because that was in the floodway, was putting water in the floodway out there. Okay, so that's one of the things we started looking at. So we got a group of guys, one of them was Roy Ray, to go out and look at different proposals. I wanted to bring it in-house. I said, let's bring it in-house. So we brought Bill sold trucks, so we got the price of trucks, and we went to, and I think it was Claremore at that time, and so we wanted to see what it would cost. Claremore said, don't do it. Claremore said, do not do in-house, because it'll cost you a fortune, and then the maintenance. The other thing was, that I wasn't aware of, later on, you have greenhouse gases, and I can't put that with terminology. Going to and from, so that was one of the things that we did. We looked at this thing, we took an overall look at it, and we got, $16, like Bill said, I think 16 or 7, I could be wrong, was the price back, and I'm gonna say, I thought it was about 2000, I don't know what the year was, was the price that we got estimated, 2007, we got estimated for pickup trash in town. And so, we started looking at this thing, and so, at that point in time, we had like you said, Lucy Bill had looked at Jim Hines, and so Jim Hines said, I can build a transfer station. Well, he started the transfer station out there. When he started the transfer station out there, Jim was a good guy. He had no money. When he built the transfer station, and I'm not smart enough to know this, but he built a building, and when you squeeze that thing, squeeze the water out of it. Well, and so when you squeeze water out of it, the water was going underground. Well, we got in trouble. Okay, we got in trouble back then because we had no place for that water to go because I wanted to, and so did Bill. We wanted to put it in our sewage treatment facility. Well, you know what that causes. Gary was smart enough to know that's going to cause influx in your sewage treatment facility. So we stepped back a little bit. So we went back and started looking at this thing over. So and when we did that thing, I went to Bill. And we sat right there and said, Bill, let's see what it takes to get this thing right. Because we wanted to do it, we had one shot to do it right and one shot on. And so when we did, we started looking at, Bill said, he went to, like you said, he went to the bank. Bill said, I can build a transfer station. I can squeeze it. And at that point in time, he started squeezing. We started taking the stuff over to a trash to energy plant over in Tulsa before they had to shut down stuff. And that was our recycling portion of recycle bag. But that's since closed or got too high. So that was what we did. But we also, Bill had, when I took Pryor Waste and Recycling, they also had to separate the sewage, the bathrooms, and the waters out go to the sewer over there and put this other stuff in a tank out there to draw the water out of it before you put it in the creek. So that had to be clean. So that was part of the bid process out there with this transfer station. The other thing about the transfer station out there was the thing out there, holes were sunk and all kinds. If you never was out there when you was a kid, I can remember going out there when I was a kid running around. And so that's what so when we looked at this thing as really as a whole, we looked at it and said, hey, what are we going to have to do to help him? Because he couldn't go get the money from the bank to borrow that it's going to take to fix this thing. Okay, so what we did back then, we got together and said, well, let's do a contract. Roy Ray was part of this contract. If you don't remember Roy Ray, okay, Roy Ray was part of this contract. And my memory serves me correct. Bill doesn't know some of this stuff. Was that we had a 5-year contract, okay? Automatic renewal for 15 years, okay? That's what we had with this escalation clause in it. For the simple reason that was the only way, and the city had to allow Bill, or the Pryor Waste and Recycling, to fix that. That was mandatory to fix that transfer station up. So that was the only way he could go borrow the money, and I won't say which the accountant down here in town, everybody knows him. He was one of the accountants in town, and we had another banker in town. And that's how we partnered with these people to make this thing happen. And so when we partnered with it, he bid it off. So he come to the council one night, and we went out for bid. Okay, and I can tell you right now, when we went out for bid for this stuff right here, I'll tell you, and I probably shouldn't say this, I'm sitting right there as mayor, and Dennis Nichols was in the back, and I was offered a bribe to take the contract. I told Chief Nichols, I guarantee you, I puckered up like you can't believe, because I didn't want anybody putting any money in my blue pickup, because contract was that what we wanted, and what we decided to do was we wanted to take a chance. We knew that we could recycle and put it in town, okay? So we wanted to take a chance. So we took a chance on Pryor Waste and Recycling doing what he said he could do. And that Roy Ray said, he was a Pryor boy, and I know his dad and his grandpa, had a plumbing business. They're honest. So that's why we went with the system. Now, the other side of this equation is that about that time, once we started all this stuff, we got lucky. I got lucky. As mayor, I got lucky. We had an ice storm. If you remember the ice storm. When we had the ice storm back then, we had no place to go with the brush. None. So we had a guy by the name of Fenton Rood, I think was his name.
That's it.
He come over here, and what he did was, he said, I'm going to sanction your brush dump. Well, I said, okay, let's sanction the brush dump for the brush. Well, I got the brainy idea, let's just open it up and let people just brush it, dump it in there free. And let me tell you what, that was the biggest mistake I ever had, because if you ever been to those little post holes, they got creosote in them, they got arsenic in them. Well, Fenton came over here and inspected it one day. And when he did, he said, shut it down. DEQ said, shut it down. And I said, what are we going to do? He said, you got to clean it up. I'm going to pull your permit. Because we're the only place in the state of Oklahoma that has a burn pit now, like what we've got. And so he said, I'm going to pull the permit. And so I went to Bill, and I said, I got to have some help. I said, somebody's got to manage this brush going in there. So we went to Bill and said, can you manage the brush going in there? He said, I can do more than that. You bring your street crew over there on Saturday. Let's separate this stuff up. And DEQ come over and oversaw everything. Then he took it and hauled it off, and that's how that facility started back there. Then later on, they come up with burn incinerators, okay? I didn't qualify, the city didn't qualify for a burn incinerator. Shoto got it. Well, Shoto's burn incinerator flopped because it didn't work. You burn down, not burn up. But we're the only facility, the only place in the state that's got a place that you can actually burn brush. That's legal, and he managed that process. I say all that to say this, the contract, that one of the things that we wanted to do when we looked at this contract, we wanted to protect the citizens of Pryor. That was one of the things that we wanted to do, and that's what I thought we did. So when the contract comes in, we got this contract through 2044. Auto renewal through 2044 with this de-escalation clause in there, for the simple reason that we knew that this business is very, very volatile, very competitive, and go out there and look at it. So we got to 2024, and we knew that this guy right here, we trusted this guy, and he could get, so in order to keep his business, in order to trucks, and keep people hired, I don't know, he's probably got about $2 million payroll out there now, what he's probably got close to it. If you haven't been out there, you need to go out there. But my point is saying, and it's auto renewal, every 5 years or 3 years. And we did that for this reason, was to protect the citizens of Pryor. I didn't want you, Zach, I didn't want you or anybody else to go through what we went through with that trash dump. And I mean, it was brutal. And DEQ was gonna fine us. They was gonna lose all of their NFIP, National Flood Insurance. We're gonna lose all of that for the citizens of Pryor, you know? So that's the reason why this thing is set up the way it is. I set it up. Me and I think it was Randy Elliott and Ben Shear and Ken Prather and Gary Schammel. I think we all set this thing up so he could get financing. And that's what we did, make sure that he was protected on financing. That's why we did this thing. So if anybody to blame, you've got to blame me. Then later on, it'll be Zach you can blame. But this contract is why we want to make sure that he's protected, not only him, and I'm telling you right now, he's getting old just like I am. And I want to make sure that whoever's, and his son's right there, and his son, and he got enough to make sure that we're protected to do trash service. And so the trash service is that way. If you go out there now, they take all that brush in there and it inspects it. It's clean. I don't know if any problems you have. You know, one of the biggest things that we want to do. We also looked at bidding, dumpsters. Okay, and when we were going to look at one time, go to lighter trucks and bid dumpsters. Well, we took this thing in. The citizens did not want a dumpster for the simple reason because the dumpster wouldn't hold as much trash as polycart wouldn't hold as much trash. And so we had, I won't say his name, so we had a guy outside of town there, would bring them in and put them in several of his rental houses. And then he'd use water. So we passed a deal, water on, trash service. You had to pay for trash service. Well, if you got water, you had to pay for trash service. I say that this has been a great partnership. Now it's a pain sometimes. It's been a great partnership with the citizens of Pryor. Trash all over the state of Oklahoma is difficult. And if you want to see something nasty, just go over the trash. You go over to, I took some stuff over to, my daughter lives in Claremont. I took some stuff over to the landfill over by American Airlines here a while back. $40 what it took me for my pickup, just to walk it, just to drive in the gate.
I did that too, $45.
$40,
One pickup.
just my pickup. So my point saying that is, yeah, this contract is very lengthy. 3%, Bill didn't ask for 3% every year. He bought playground equipment with some money that he donated. We bought playground equipment over at Choya's, over in that park. We bought playground equipment over there. So he's been a good partner, and his company's been a good partner. The other thing that you cannot replace is our impact that we have with DEQ and NFIP and the National Flood Insurance Program. You cannot replace that because that goes a long way because they see that. I don't know if they only inspected it once or twice. You know, they'll come out and do it. But I don't know if we ever had a fallout. Now, we had over there at the old one, we had numerous complaints. And so 3% escalation, you know, the cost goes up, you know. I haven't seen a 3% increase in my Social Security since I retired, you know. So I could use 3%. But my point is, citizens are well taken care of. This guy's taken care of. And the contract, we put the contract out that way. For that reason, I wanted to protect him. I wanted to protect his investment. I wanted to protect the citizens. Because one thing that, like, whether you like me or not, I love the city of Pryor. I love the city of Pryor, without any qualms about it. You know, I love the city of Pryor. I love what we do and where we're going and what's going. I love it. And I don't want to see anything bad eye or anything else for the city of Pryor. I don't want to see the city of Pryor do well. That's my love. So that's when I encourage you. You know, and I'm open to any question you want to ask me. I'll answer it or whatever I can. I tried to look at. I've got some of the old copies of old contracts. at my house, and stuff like it, but I'll answer any question that I can think of to answer. I just think that trash business is a tough business and a nasty business.
Too many moving parts.
Too many, you know.
Jimmy, let me ask you a question. This contract, did it go through the Public Works Authority or go through the City of Pryor?
Both. What we did, Bruce, what we did, we took it to the street committee, okay?
All right.
All right, we took it to the street committee, okay? We went to the street committee, and I couldn't tell you, I couldn't tell you on the top of my head now if it went from the street committee to council or it went to PPWA. I'm thinking it probably went through PPWA, more than likely, because that's the way he could borrow the money. You know, back with the prior Public Works, PPWA has, when you go to get bonds and stuff, you go to PPWA. Not that because it was the building, so we had to back it. I think it had to go through PPWA because the city can't obligate itself beyond 1 year, so we had to go that way. And I think that's what we had to do. I could be wrong about that, I don't remember, but I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that's, whenever we had the meeting with Gary Shamel, First Priority, they were willing to get involved in the financial part of it. And we met downstairs, like I said earlier, and one of the things, there's two things that the bank stipulated. Number one was that they would finance it for 15 years, but that's where the 3 5-year term come out, and that 5 years, 3 renewable terms. The second thing is, they want their money first. Terry Hill, every month, would go down to that bank and deposit that money, and the bank got their payment before anything. So there was a lot of little moving parts to get it started. And again, my whole life has been centered around work trucks. I know a refuse truck from front to back. I probably have more knowledge about the refuse industry and refuse equipment than anybody in Pryor and maybe in Mays County. When I buy a truck, I buy it on 5 years. I put every warranty on that I can, and the reason why, to pull a truck in a shop now is $245 an hour to work on the truck. So I fall back on the warranty to take care of the equipment and to provide good service. When I was on the council, we constantly heard how the trucks were breaking down the middle of the streets, pouring oil out of them. You could follow the trash truck throughout the town. They stunk to high heavens. I mean, it was a joke to the city of Pryor to have that type of refuse operation. And again, I stepped off and took a chance. I did not, for the first 3 years, Kim Prather was right. We barely made it. I took every penny out of my retirement, my 401ks to make payroll. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I worked 7 days a week, 15 hours a day.
Can I say something else too?
And it was a tough
One of the things, and I don't want to mention any names here, I can remember when this started, the city of Pryor had a contractor, I'm not going to say any names, dumping it illegally. Okay? There's a file in there. The city of Pryor is responsible for that site. If anything ever leaches out of that site, the city of Pryor is responsible for that site. It's in there on file right now. It was, I don't know how many years ago, and, you know, the contractor, they're dead, but the city of Pryor's for that. And that's how come it's so important when you pick up, and I'm not talking about just trash. If you have a dumpster, one of those big, large dumpsters that you picked up at somebody's businesses, you gotta know where that goes. You know, we had somebody dumping it at Iron Post. We had to stop that one time, you know, taking it to Iron Post, you know. So my point saying that is, there's a lot of issue, a lot of moving parts in this stuff. So again, contract is 2044. I'm here. I'm going to shut up. You got any questions for me? Answer me.
Just to clarify, what do you charge the city?
I'm sorry.
What do you charge the city?
What do you charge the city, Bill?
What do you charge the city for trash pickup?
What do I charge the city?
Because he wants to know what your fees are. Current rates.
Oh, $16.75.
The city, like, not general citizens of the city of
City
Pryor.
of Pryor.
City,
Oh,
municipal.
Well, the reason I ask that is in the letter, it says, with the city budget being tight last year, we made the decision to forgo the increase. the city budget's not the concern of Pryor Waste. So,
Yep.
and on top of that, hold on top of that, I've had folks from the city clerk's office tell me that there are charges to MUB, or through MUB to Pryor Waste on city bills, so, something,
For the dumpsters. There are for some of the dumpsters, yes.
That I can't answer.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
Let
roll-offs?
me explain that. There's times when you guys do a cleanup in a house, you tear a house down or whatever. We just furnished dumpsters for cleanup, which was to go back. I didn't even charge for the truck, the labor, any of that. All I charged was for what it cost me to take it and dump it all the way to Tulsa. Dump it legally and properly.
well, that would have been a roll-off, right?
On a roll-off, yeah.
So when you said dumpster, is that what you meant?
I'm talking roll-off.
Okay,
Yeah,
See, the roll-offs they're charged up here at the top.
yeah, well, that I knew.
okay.
But it just made it look like because of city budget with that,
Well, what my intention was, that I've sat in that seat, and there was a lot of bad rap on the financial side of Pryor. The
just a
budget
little bit.
situation, the shortfalls and all that. This is where I have to calm myself down and worry. That was a very volatile time. The public was upset, bad rap to the city of Pryor, and I thought the last thing you guys needed to do was face a pay raise. It was in respect. What I did, so what I sacrificed was respect for you guys and this town. And that's from my heart. I'm not just BSing you.
So, I'm the one that made the motion, so let me talk for a second. I made the motion tonight for no action, not because I'm opposed to this. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I'm not necessarily for it at this point. I don't know what I'm for, because we have no information other than what we're being told. There was no information in our packet. The only information that we have been given as a council to make a decision for our community, for our constituents, is a Facebook post the mayor made last night to the general public. That's it. So I'm not opposed to this, but I would like to see historical documents on how this started, the original contract, and all of the amendments to getting us where we are today, so we can make an educated, logical decision that's going to be in the best interest of you, our community, our citizens. And I would like the city attorney to also have the opportunity to look at all those documents to see if anything jumps out at him. How can we, and I'm changing the subject just a second, how can a city council in 1989, 1990 pass something that binds this city council today in 2026 to a certain pay increase? How can we do that?
The city council probably couldn't, but if it's through the PWA, you might be able to. I'd have to look at the contract, which is exactly what he said.
Yeah, and so,
Again,
I respect what you're saying there. And the contract, there's original contract in there, the amendments to the contract are in there also somewhere. And the other thing is
I think it's only in the fair interest of this council to see all of those documents and put them in the packet so the public can see the same thing we are and can contact us with their opinion, Nina, and give us their thoughts on that before we make a decision.
But one thing, and I agree with what you're saying here. One thing that I'll divert to is that we didn't do anything contract-wise when I was mayor. Was either Randy Elliott didn't approve, he's got his stamp on it. Ben Shear didn't approve, or Kim Ritchie didn't approve. You know, it's one of the things that'll get you in trouble quicker than anything. Because you're spending money that you don't have. So somewhere in there, those contracts are in there, so yes. And I told Bill here, at Pryor Waste and Recycling, I said, it's part of my fault. The contracts are there. You need to get together with the council sometime, get a group together with council. You need to get together with MUB. You need to sit down and talk about this. Everybody needs to understand the history of this trash business. Because you all have no idea what the history of this trash business is, what we went through to get there.
So are you saying MUB's a part of the city?
No, I'm not.
We're not going
But
playing with it.
one of the things was, they agreed, we pay them, then they pay him. That was one of the agreements we had to do. All goes through MUB to be free as payment.
I will say that is one of the thickest files because of all that documentation
Yeah.
that's in the vault.
Yeah, so it's huge thick.
It's every
But anyway-
bit
But
2
anyway,
inches thick.
and again, I agree, the contract, to me, if you want to see the contract, I'm sure that this young lady would let you look at it, because that file's in her, but like you said, about that thick, you know, I'm sure Drew's got one somewhere.
So is it, you keep saying it's this thick, is it possible to give us in a packet, or?
Oh my gosh,
No.
we can, anything
Yeah,
can be
if
scanned.
anything's
Look,
wrong-
but it's gonna be several hundred pages.
It'll take you, my suggestion would be to, if you want to have someone look at it, have the city attorney look at it, or you come here and sit down and look at it, because it's pretty long,
Yeah,
so.
and in all honesty,
But by
Sure.
including the packet, we could give the citizens the opportunity to look at it.
Charles, to clarify that, back during the start of Courtney's term, wasn't most everything all digitized? That this can be in an email instead of a thick file packet?
not all of that file is.
I've came into a lot of things that I have to find. Because,
I knew that there was a lot of
Previous.
digitation.
but I wrote down everything that you guys have said that you've wanted, and that's my list,
And remember, all of those records requests, if you go to Hannah, she'll provide them for you as quick as she can.
as quick as we can.
I don't have
Tell
a
it.
problem with anything you said. Just know that that file is thick and a lot of those pages are brittle. So if you can, come and look at it here. If we have to scan it up,
If it's been scanned, I'm sending.
if it will, yeah.
Let me add another thing to Charles. In my thinking, which I'm not right most of the time anyway, but in my thinking, we should be discussing with the city of Pryor, how would you like to reduce your 2 weeks to 1 week, get a trash can, get that accepted, and then bring in a possible increase? Not bring the increase in first and then.
That's good, that's a good plan, you know, we put a group together. And what you're saying is table the 3%. My question is, can he forego the 3% with a raise in fees and?
He may not have to, he'll know more than we will, but if we cut the amount of time he's spending in Pryor and cut it in half, that may make him a better situation. It may make us a better situation.
Study and see, that's yours.
Just not jump real quick and figure it out.
And see, we're headed that way anyway.
Yeah,
If you do, as we talked about, you go to every one of those towns. Pryor is the only town that I know of in the state of Oklahoma that has twice week pickup. I've been against that since day one, because I was over the street department. Those trash trucks are tough on your streets. So there's a lot of ways to handle it, but the problem that we ran into, the people did not want that. They've had twice a week pickup for 50 years. They're
Well,
used to that.
I-
You go changing
yeah.
somebody's trash habits, you're asking for a lot of trouble.
Well,
You could shut their TV off, you can do a lot of things. You mess with trash, you'll Pandora's box.
along those lines, one day, I gandered out in the garage to take the trash out. I opened up the garage door, and there's a trash truck sitting there, right against the garage door. And I thought, my wife or daughter has done bought a trash truck. I don't know where that come from. Well, one of his people, misunderstanding, I've got house pickup, side pickup. Instead of getting it and taking it out the street, they just back the old trash truck up the door. There's a hole, big as a hood of a car, where it crushed concrete. I didn't say anything about it for a while. When I told him, he immediately came out there, fixed it, sorry, and got it fixed, and everything's fine. So I don't have a problem with the trash service. I don't have a problem with the bill. I just think we need to get this horse and cart
So back to
straightened
your
out.
point, are you wanting to go to one time a week? Is that your proposal?
I would love it. And let me tell you something, Mr. Crown. You know how many applications I got last year for people throwing trash? People are
I'm
not
not,
gonna do that.
I'm just trying to figure out what you're wanting. I'm not questioning you. I'm just trying to figure out, because it kind of sounded like in those comments you made a few minutes ago that you weren't necessarily for that.
When you have twice a week pickup, even though people don't set their trash out, we still drive the same route.
Yep.
The trucks still travel.
I get that.
So, you know, the fuel costs, those trucks are, you know, I sold the last trash truck that Pryor bought in 1983. It was $39,000. The same truck today that packs the same volume of trash is $250,000. Insurance just went through the roof. The operational costs, I'm on those guys all the time. We got to control the operational costs. Because that's, if we don't do that, and I was gonna say something real quick, and I'm gonna cut my part unless you have questions. Not all he's got questions, because he's chomping at the bit. But here's the deal. If you look around Shodo, and you look at Shodo, I had Mayor Floyd call me one time, he said, we got a mess. The hauler, if you find a problem with the trash company, it's usually the rate's too cheap and they can't afford the disposal. The disposal of that trash is one of the most expensive things that we do. And what he was doing was at nighttime, he was dumping it behind the building and burning it. Major DEQ violation. And the thing about it is, Mayor Floyd called me and said, we're in trouble. The landfills have shut him off, wants the town of Shodo to pay for the disposal. And they were making him, if he come to the landfill, they made him pay cash before he could dump. He called me and said, we got a problem. We end up with a contract in Shodo. I've had the same thing at Wagner, and we haul Wagner, and we do it with an automated polycart system. It's the only,
Bill?
it's the only way to
Can I make
go.
one more comment, and then I'm not gonna say another word. I just asked the city attorney if he's seen the addendum of the contract. You know, this contract, and he said he had, am I correct?
I saw what you and I talked
Yeah,
about, his
yeah, the
post,
addendum of the contract through 2044.
which I don't know if that was the full addendum. Was that only 2 pages of it, or was that?
That was it. It was added
It's
minutes.
just 2 pages.
That's what I've
And
seen.
So, my point saying that is that's the addendum to 2044. I think Bruce has got a good idea, have to look at it. I think you got a good idea. Look at it for future. Well, let's get this thing done as we get people, citizens are in, and then say, okay, I'm gonna put a team together and get Bill back here together, and let's get people together that's been on this council before, and let's discuss this, because when I'm dead and gone, I don't come to town much anymore. And, you know, if Zach, and I stay on.
No, but you're constantly driving.
But my point is, we've done a good job he's seen the contracts. I'm gonna go sit down and shut up.
Hey, Bill,
Well,
Mr. Dinsmore,
hang on.
you're asking for a 3%, which is about 50 cents, is that correct?
We only get 91%. The city gets 6% for
Right.
billing and 3% for franchise charge.
But the 3% would be approximately 50 cents on
Yeah,
the
50
16.
cents, by
Okay,
the time we get it, it's 45 cents.
Right.
And we pick up 8 times a week.
Right.
I mean, a month.
Right.
Guys,
Is this rate weekly?
That's month,
It's a monthly rate, right? 1675 is a monthly rate.
yes, it is.
Now, Bill, everywhere that you do service, you furnish the cans?
Yes.
So Pryor's are the ones you don't furnish.
well, Pryor does have cans around that he's furnished, I've
That's
seen.
interesting that you guys mentioned that. We had such a tremendous amount of people calling and said, we want polycarts. You see them everywhere. And those things are expensive.
Yeah.
We ordered about a semi-truckload. I don't know how many we've set prior. But I went to Terry one day and I said, Terry, we're getting so many calls for polycarts. I'd like to be able to add that. And I think Larry Lees was mayor and so forth, and they approved to put that on there as available. It's not part of the contract.
But you have a special truck that hauls those, right?
Pardon me.
You got a special truck that loads those polycarts?
You're right. A polycart will hold up to 175 pounds.
Yeah.
And the hydraulic system on the truck will flip that, will dump that, 175 pounds. Whereas if we pick it up, we only pick up 50 pounds and we only lift it 4 feet.
Right.
Well, how many people have you got on the poly truck?
How many people have the?
Yeah, I mean, how many
What's your
persons
staff?
operate?
Operators,
One.
And so you got one on the poly truck, but you got three on the regular truck.
Right.
And nobody's gonna lose a job if you switch.
No.
Good.
It's, what it allows me to do is to go to a different truck.
Bill,
That has the arm that lifts it.
Okay.
And that way, you don't worry about 100 degree temperature.
Right.
You know, -0 wind chill factor.
Rain,
down
yeah.
Whatever it is, and it's,
Now, if you've got a house side pickup, how does the one guy, does he get out of the truck, go up there and get it?
I pick it up, I pick up.
Do you? That'll work.
I've done it time to do moves.
hey, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Question, since you're gonna go to this polycart thing, or possibly, what's it gonna cost you to get started and maybe buy new trucks and things
Yeah,
like that?
It cost $1.5 million.
$1.5 million? We're good with that? Okay, just want to make sure. It's gonna be expensive.
The bank will loan me the money.
Okay, good enough.
And I got a letter to that effect.
All right, good.
Okay, so I just have a few questions, and a lot of it starts 24 or 48 hours, however long ago it was. I don't know. I didn't go to sleep until 2 o'clock last night doing research. I spent a lot of my day today doing research that starts with a question, because I found for whatever reason, I had a lot of this stuff sent to me when Courtney was here, and so I found this, your amendment from 2019, and we got clarification on that now, that no, the city's not actually being charged in lieu of foregoing rent for basic trash pickup. I'm understanding that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so I asked the question, and I really didn't get an answer. It was, come talk to me. Okay, fine, whatever. And then at the same time, when all this starts getting posted out, I also get calls from constituents and whatnot, and I'm spending a lot of time going through every single city council agenda since whatever's on the website. And Jay, by the way, has been awesome in getting me all that information. So kudos to her. Give her a raise. No, anyway, there's a few things that I have a question about. The first one, and this largely comes from the fact that we're a private company working with a government entity. I'm predisposed that you should keep that as far away as possible. That's not the discussion here, but one of the things is complaints about, you talk about twice a week pickup. Well, and I have your information letter here as well, that's on the website. That citizens within the city at a certain time, it just says 25 years ago this was done, there's no date on the letter, but I would assume, did he already?
Yeah, he left.
Oh, okay. Well, sometime over 25 years ago, this was decided. A lot of the complaint has come from, there are areas in the city that are now in city limits that now have houses on them, and they're getting twice a week pickup. And like, I have a neighbor who has to go to a dumpster because once a week is, so the question there is consistency in the work practice, because we are contracted with the city. And so I think the citizens should know that that's happening. And I'm not trying to get on to anybody, but that's just is what it is. And the second thing is they complained about no callbacks, no responses from, and again, a private company, I believe, should be able to do whatever they want in accordance with state, local laws, et cetera, so on and so forth. But when you go to a governing agency, that's a little hairy.
I'm gonna
Get to the damn point.
pause, because
Well,
in my 3 years as mayor,
Craig, you sucker.
I've had one person, not you, and I know you're talking about yourself, one person call me that said, hey, I didn't get my trash picked up, and I called you immediately, and you went as quick as you could get a team out there. Nobody in this room right now has graced my office or my phone to mention that they weren't getting the pickups that they should get. And I understand that we have boundaries that have changed with annexations, but understand, I don't have MUB with their billing. They don't know, Hannah doesn't know who gets what. We don't sit at everybody's front yard. So it is an element of accountability and responsibility that if you're in the city limits and you're not getting what you're paying for, to, as politely and correctly as you can, call up and say, I'm not getting the pickups I need, and it's not happening. And so,
Yeah, and I am gonna say,
hang on, I'm not done, and we're not open to public discussion on the floor. Here's the problem, is that we're not attacking, we're not out to do that, that's not the point. If we have adjustments that need to be made because of boundaries that have changed, and our boundaries are always changing, and here in the next year or two, they're gonna change again when we do additional annexations, when we get the houses put in up at Stonegate. We have to make sure that we're communicating that to Dinsmore. And when I talked to Jimmy about it today, he said that, I guess it's through zoning maps that we have to do that. We've updated our zoning maps. We have to make sure that we're getting those out, but the only way we're gonna find out that those people, like you and your neighbor, aren't getting the service because you've been annexed in since 2 AD when we started this whole mess, is for those people to come to us or to call the utility board or Hannah and say, I'm not getting what I need. I'm gonna tell you right now, every call I've made to Bill, and Bill, you can attest, you and I have not always seen eye to eye. We had a great interaction in my office at the store one time where it got hot. But I make a call to him and it happens. So if we're not getting that, we need to know. We can't begrudgingly come at the city or Bill and be like, well, I've been paying for it and I'm not getting it. So there's an accountability factor there. We will make right what we can make right. That's what we're here to do.
So, hold on. When these people, including myself, they call MUB, they say, we don't have control over that. You gotta call the Waste. You call Waste. We don't get responses. Nobody gets responses, so we call City Hall and complain?
You can call me every time, or
And again, this.
or like I said in the email, you can come into my office and we can talk about it. But apparently, what I'm getting at is we've got to have that communication. And it's just like everywhere else. If you're not getting an answer from Dinsmore and you don't get an answer from there, that's what I'm paid to do. I will make those. Have I not called you several times and said, hey, we need to fix this?
Okay, the only reason,
Never deny anybody trash service. Now, I'm gonna say something here. That twice we pick up, the problem is, and I owe an apology, but on the flip side of that, we have no idea, we don't, what areas have been annexed and stuff. There's a road out there that one side of the street's in the city, the other side's not.
yeah, that happens to be where I
And it's
live too.
confusing, and I didn't even know that till today.
Yeah, well, and I'm not getting on to you for that, because I know there's a chain of command, but the fact of the matter is, I didn't know a lot of this stuff until the last 24, 48 hours. I went and searched all these documents and read through them. I'm like, oh wait, we're really tied to Pryor Waste and Recycle more than I thought we were. And the fact is nobody else is out there gonna know that, hey, maybe we need to call up City Hall and say, hey, this is what's going on. And when I had a simple question, do we do this, yes or no? Come to my office and talk about it. Well, I'm not gonna be able to do that before the meeting. Well, I'm busy too. Well, I get that, but we're sitting here having to make decisions about a contract we don't have in a packet. We've got all these documents that had to be fished out, which once again, great for City Hall. I appreciate what your office has done getting this information, well, the added information. And
So let me be very clear to the people that are listening. Over the weekend, I got asked if we could have some correspondence. You know what? I have family time. And I'm sorry, Mr. Brashears, that you've got yourself all worked up over this. But I have every right to say, come to my office and talk about it. Terry has been in my office. I've talked to Bruce. I've talked to just about anybody. Lori and I have talked about it. You chose to throw a fit because I said, come talk to me. I sat in my office all day, with the exception of two times. One, I went to go get lunch, and two, when I went to take pictures of the 17th Street project to give an update on that. You did not make that effort. I don't know what your day is. I don't really care. But to waste our time and account,
so I can.
to waste, I'm not done talking, don't interrupt. When we have a council meeting and we're trying to do this, Take your personal issues and handle them not in a public setting. I don't think that's professional. I don't think it's professional to get upset when somebody says, come and talk to me about it. If you don't like that answer, I'm sorry, but that's the answer that you got. I am a father, I am a husband, and I have things in my home that I need to do, including sick children. I have a wife, needed some help. I'm not going to give every waking second of my Sunday and Saturday night to things that I need to put in a priority list and set back. We're here to discuss this 3% escalator. That's what we need to get to. I think there have been great questions from everybody, great involvement. I'm grateful that you, Brian, and
Matt,
As a resident, because they're wonderful. I've lived lots of places and I've never lived anywhere where they are as punctual.
thank you. And
Absolutely.
They don't want to be out.
And the fact that Jimmy came up, Jimmy did not have to come up. We try to, we love Jimmy for what he is, but he chose to come up here. What was that, Nina? Oh, I thought you had a cough again. But again,
You're interrupting Nina.
the point that we're getting at is customer service, you are a customer service-based business.
Yes.
There will be problems. And anybody that's done customer service, whether it's handyman work, library, real estate, newspaper, you're not going to get everything 100%. But losing our cool about it, not being level-headed about things is never going to get successful. I tell everybody all the time, level heads prevail. And we've got to address whether or not we're going to do this or not. The proposal has been discussed and is out there that we could entertain at another council discussion whether or not we would accept the once-a-week pickup with the 97-gallon receptacles for reduction in service and wear and tear on our roads, but it helps him as well. That's out there. That is not tied into this 3%. Tonight, we're here to discuss the 3%, and that's what we've got to do.
I understand that, and this is the frustrating part. Hold on. I send out correspondence at almost 11 PM on Sunday. That leaves the entire day Monday because we have nothing in our packet outside of a letter. No fault to you. And I'm not saying I have issues. But not everybody I have a family. I have 5 kids. I have a full-time job that if I don't work, I'm not making money. I don't have paid leave. And so it would be more time efficient to say, yes, we do. No, we don't. Hey, here's this, but there's more development. It's that simple. So I understand what we have on the floor now, but this whole thing, we talk communication is key, communication is key, communication is key, and all we have is a letter that he sent in our packet regarding a contract.
Yeah. When did you send us that letter, Bill? When did you send that letter to us? Was that not Friday afternoon?
yeah, Matt sent it.
Thank you, Matt.
But thank you.
I was in the hospital and I wasn't able to get right to it. But in the contract, it says that the liaison between the city and the refuse company is the mayor. And I have the right to petition the council for raise based on fuel costs, disposal costs, equipment costs, insurance costs, and all those things. That's what I'm doing. And you have the right to reject it. You say, hey, your service sucks, you're on your own.
Do you have a copy of that contract in your files at your work site?
I'm pretty sure I do. I'm pretty sure I do.
Bill, would it
Okay.
be livable,
No action,
and I suggested earlier that
Bill?
we go ahead and table this or take no action tonight, work on the one trip sanitation, and then bring this back at a later point? Would that settle everything?
Let me, real quick, and I'm going to give Tyler the floor because he has been patiently waiting. I'm just going to ask you guys, would you guys have a problem with me having Jay put out a jot form, I think is what it is, the Survey Monkey survey? Just asking, what do you prefer? Would you be okay with it? Just send it out. We can send it out, put it out on social media. We'll get back unanimous results.
What are we asking?
If they would like to keep the service as it is, or if they would be okay with once a week with the larger containers. That would just go out to the public as, answer it if you want to.
I think, since the paper's gone, and I know you said you didn't like Facebook, although you've adapted really well to it.
Communication.
But that's the only communication you got in Pryor, I think, right now is Facebook. Social media to get, and I don't.
Bruce, we have 2 published newspapers.
So
There's one sitting right there, Susan.
So we can, I can get Dean and Tim to give us, Dean and Tim can give us a spot.
Yeah, I didn't mean
to
to
put that up.
exempt them, but I'm saying that's
No,
the
we can do
immediate
it.
thing is Facebook was,
Yep.
you've seen how immediate it is. Oh, boy.
I have questions that I wrote down, so hopefully I don't forget anything. Recycling. Is that anywhere on the horizon, or where are we at with all that? And I'm going to ask you if you would please speak into the mic, because I know there's lots of people that want to know this answer.
Well, I'm up here so I can hear
I know,
you.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Recycling is it has to be everybody. You can't pick and choose.
Right.
And that's what we ran into right off the bat. When, what we had chosen to do was have twice a week pickup, one time trash, the second time recyclables. That thing fell so flat on its face, it was unreal. Jimmy did the survey. He went to Saratoga, and people said, we're not gonna mess with that. We're gonna throw it in the trash and be done with it. So we used the waste to energy, and that was satisfactory because it was a means of recycling and turning trash into energy. That worked until we got pushed out. Recycling now costs more than hauling the trash off, if you can get rid of it. Plastic, I don't know if you guys remember preferred waste that was out in the industrial park, recycled plastic. They couldn't make a penny. We hauled it all off to the landfill. I tried to sell it, but it was commingled, contaminated, and nobody would take it. So I've seen recycling break a contractor's back real quick. Now, what we are working on, and let me step back a little bit further. We were going to try recycling. The city poured a concrete pad. I went out and bought these containers for separation. We set them out there, and we didn't have anybody participate. And they said, we're not going to drive that gravel road because we'll get a flat. So what we decided to do was set them behind a police station. That thing become a dump. Mattresses, junk, everywhere. Dennis Nichols finally called. He said, get them out of here. I'm sick of it. We've tried, but it's a very, very difficult deal. City of Tulsa, and I know those guys well, have fought that recycling deal, and they've got it. But you take and pick up recycle bins and have 2 or 3 people put trash in them, you contaminated it, and they will take and put it in the landfill. It's very, very strict, very expensive. So what we would like to do eventually is in our plan is have it again where we have volunteer recycling. In other words, we have the containers where you put paper, glass, plastic, whatever, and for people that want to do it themselves. Some people are going to do it because they're environmentally conscious. Some people are not going to waste their time doing that. So I've watched that thing closely, and it's to the point that City of Tulsa fines people. If you violate it, they're going to fine you, and that's the only way they can get at one time when they started, you know what their percentage of participation was? 16%. And they had to have recycling. They had already taunted it, got awards for it, and they had to make it, and they tried all kinds of different ways. First, they take and leave them a note, says, don't put your trash in the recycling bin. And then they got to the point they had to just basically fine them.
But you're saying if there's not a need for it or profit for it, nobody wants to mess with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the problems is, whenever they had the Olympics in China, cardboard was bringing $200 a ton. After the Olympics, $5 a ton. You can't bale it and transport it for that. I mean, you lose money. Massive plastic is a very tough thing to get rid of. The markets are volatile. It's just up and down, up and down. Most of the guys that make it work in recycling, like American Environmental, they got a big warehouse, and then they get several truckloads, and then they go to finding who's the best buyer for it. So I would love to be able to do some type of recycling, but I just do not know how to make it work in this area.
Yeah, I just like the options. Having the person that does want to do it have the option, even if it's a drop-off location that's managed.
That's the best thing.
But I think it's good for us to look into that avenue. I understand that it's probably a pain, and Jeremy's people don't have the time to go out and police whether or not somebody's putting recycled trash in recycle bin or not. And so I don't want to create any more work on anybody, but just if there is an option, I think that helps lots of things. The other thing is, I just want to point out, we're talking about $6 a year for the consumers.
That's what it
Yeah.
is.
And we're doing a lot of bickering over $6 a year. I have zero complaints with y'all's trash service. You guys are,
You spend about an hour arguing over this, and I'm $200 an hour.
That's
I
right.
have three kids
Put that
who
in
eat
perspective.
like maniacs, and we probably go over our trash rate, and you guys always pick it up, and I'm very appreciative of it.
Thank you very much.
I think that we have, along with all of our other utility services, some of the cheapest in the entire state. And if anybody wants to disagree, please go ask other cities, because they're paying sometimes double more than what we're paying on lots of things, so.
Well, I appreciate that comment.
I do wish that we had some more clarity on all the backstory and everything. It was helpful, the little history lesson tonight was helpful, but I think I, and some of the conversations I've had, just want to understand better what the landscape is on all of this. One of the sticking points, as far as sticking points, not necessarily a bad thing, just one of the questions is, it's our land. And so what is the trade-off on our land? You guys are using it. You guys are obviously running a business out of it. So I know that was one of the questions that I've been asked is, hey, what is the city getting out of it? And if it's cheaper service, if it's whatever it is, I don't know what it is, but I know that that's one of the questions that I've been asking, and that's the last question I have.
And to answer that again, I'm being a little bit repetitious here. We don't charge the city for anything.
Right.
Band Day, the festivals, the bluegrass, we bring all the poly carts out here. We don't charge a penny for them. We set the roll-offs out here so they can empty the poly. There is a lot of participation, whether it's Main Street, Pryor. They'll clean up a business. We set a dumpster. We donate
Right.
it. I mean, it's just, there's so many things that we try to do, but the biggest thing at that transfer station is who's gonna maintain it.
Right.
And that's the reason I was telling you earlier about whenever the farm, Randy Drake, which everybody knows Randy Drake, been around here for ages, he come to me and he said, we got a big problem. He said, that thistle is a hard thing to kill. And per the law, it's City of Pryor's responsibility to control that thistle. Well, you couldn't do it for the thorn trees. That thing was a forest of thorn trees. We went out there with an excavator for 3 months and pulled up every one of the thorn trees, roots and all. You can't cut them off. You gotta pull them up, roots and all.
Right.
And we made that where it could be mowed. If you drive out there now and look across it, it looks like a green pasture. I mean, it does. So we've done a lot just to maintain that. That thing was a cesspool. That back end was nothing but leachate ponds. The mosquitoes were bigger than horseflies.
Yeah.
It was a mess, so we filled all that in. We've covered it up. We can add to the top of the landfill. you just can't take away the bottom of it. You can't break that seal and go down below it. So we've done a lot, and we have plans to go further. And we would like, at a later date, we'd like to explain to you what we're trying to do. We have too many people coming in now. There's so many people moving in that's bringing the old couches in and their boxes and stuff. We've got a big traffic problem, and somebody's gonna get hurt. My liability is going through the roof because people come out there, they don't really know what to do. They'll pull right in the middle. These guys fight it every day. They pull right in the middle of everything. They'll pull right behind the backing truck. If the beeper's going off, I got signs saying trucks first, and it's dealing with the public, and that transfer station has become very difficult. So we're having to make some moves, and I've talked to you about it, and we're going to have to make some changes to protect the public. And that involves recycling, a convenient drop-off site instead of going into the transfer station, because there's a lot of people that come out with trailers now that can't buy.
And we've talked about,
Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. I thought I said, well, go, I was gonna shut up this time, I am.
we've talked a little bit about, just so people understand, and then we'll wrap this whole thing up. One of the things we're dealing with is the dump station, and when we have like tornadoes or we have,
Yes.
problems like that, Claremore's bringing some of their stuff out to our whatever. The tornado that came through, we've got debris, trees. When we had the Father's Day storm, all those trees, that adds up. And so one of the things that Bill was looking at, last
Yeah.
month, middle of last month, was a machine. It was basically, there were 8 of them in the United States, you said, but it pulverizes those trees down into literally mulch. We watched chunks of concrete go through there without even dogging it down. But that's an expense, but the idea there is that would allow us to take, all of that debris and compound it and basically extend the life of that area out there. There's a lot of things like that are being looked at. No decisions have been made on that yet, but that would be another huge investment that we would be able to use for those kind of things. And so, there's a lot going on. I'm grateful for my trash being taken out when my son decides to get it to the curb. I appreciate that, but, we,
If you look at the paper you gave us, you are half the price of the cheapest anywhere around. So the leasing that land out there has helped Pryor immensely.
Yeah. Well, the agreement was $200 a month to lease that land. And there were so many situations where picking up the trash downtown, we make sure we pick that up before the traffic ever starts. We don't interfere in the downtown traffic. If there's a parade, those cans are full. And so there's a lot of things, we take care of mud, there's a lot of things that we do that, I live here. I'm 70, almost 73 years old, and I spent almost as old as Bruce.
Almost.
Terry, you had a comment?
Let me ask one more question.
Sure.
Can I get a current city of Pryor map?
Yeah, so we can get that for you. And then just, to everybody while we're on that, remember that all records requests do not go through Jay. They actually go through Hannah's office. So if you've got one, make sure you're hitting her up for that so that she can go there.
That would be very helpful in solving what you talked about. And I apologize.
And that's per Hannah's request.
We didn't do anything intentionally. We just didn't.
Sure.
In the past, whenever there was annexing, we were notified that this area had been annexed into Pryor. And that's how we adjusted to what we
Right.
need to do. Right now, we don't, we went on Google Map, and it's not clear exactly where the city limits is.
Well, the concern came from multiple complaints that I had received. And so, I don't know, I think a lot of it boils down to communication. And, this council can change up to 50% every year. And so we have contracts from 1989 or 2000, whenever they started. And, the frustrating part is you want to be able to take people at face value. And when you don't think you can do that, then you're stuck for 24 to 48 hours pilfering through everything yourself. And by the way, I apologize, that's me. I was responding to Jay's emails that she had already sent out. I didn't mean to just strictly go to her like that, just out of the blue, but she had sent stuff out, and I said, oh, hey, by the way, this. Oh, hey, it just got out of hand, so I apologize for that. But anyway,
Terry, you had a
thank you
comment.
for explaining
Well, you're
everything
welcome.
that you did.
You know, one thing that I was gonna, when Terry's been working on the museum out there. You call me, we come by, we set dumpsters, whatever we need to do to help you improve that building and stuff like that. So it's a partnership, guys. That's what it boils down to.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
partnership.
You're absolutely right.
And the partnership is on this communication, so.
I've had a relationship with Bill for almost 38 years now. We served on the city council together, and we went through a trash contract back at that time period too. Bill has been nothing but had the best interest of this community in his heart back then when he was on the council, when he was getting involved in this trash business, and there is no doubt in my mind that Bill Dinsmore is 100% Pryor.
Amen.
People can, when you're dealing with the public, you're gonna make mistakes, people's gonna get upset. People get bad raps and everything, but Bill Dinsmore is top-notch, in my opinion. I've had a really good rapport with him, like he had said on that, and I've had some issues with, some of y'all don't know this, but we've had city trash dumpsters that have been at city buildings that I've noticed that have completely rusted out, and the trash and garbage is just licking through it. All it took was a text message or a phone call to Bill and said, can you all replace this dumpster? And he had it done within an hour.
Right.
And I've got his cell phone number. I'm sure he would privately give it to any of you all if you had a complaint, to call him up and just simply say, Bill, this neighborhood out here didn't get their trash service twice a week. Can you fix that? And I'm sure he would say, yes, he would.
I agree.
And I know that I've had some problem, or some elderly folks up in the northwest part of town had some problems about a year or two ago and complained about an elderly lady that couldn't get her trash picked up she couldn't take it out to the curb. He called her, I called him, he had it taken care of, and she was very happy within just about 30 minutes or so, and I think it was on a Saturday, if I remember right. But anyway, that being said, thank you for coming up here and explaining that. I appreciate you and Jimmy, what you did. I've always said that you've got to know and understand the past to help plan for the future, and giving us a background on how all this came about, I think is very vital to us. That being said, I just have one more question. I have a question. The issue came up it came up in May of 2022 about the fuel adjustment.
Yes.
And I tried to find some documentation on that online, the website, a lot of stuff's gone from back then. I had to go back to the paper. And it had mentioned back then in the paper that if the fuel fell below, I believe, $3.50 a gallon for diesel fuel, then things would be re-looked at again.
Yeah.
Well, we've had that on, and fuel is way down now. So what is the policy and the plan for that?
What is it, Matt?
I can answer that one. So when we met back then, everybody, of course, diesel prices were really high. So the way the structure was set out is if it's between the 30-day average, I'll go on whenever I'm setting the fuel cost adjustments, I'll go on the AAA and hit up the Tulsa website, look at the 30-day average, print that off. If it's between $2 and $3, it's 3%. No, sorry. $2 and $3 is 4%. If the 30-day average is between, $2 to $3, 4%, $3 to $4, 6%, $4 to $5, 8%, anything over 5, we're gonna relook at it, because at that time, everybody knows that the prices were through the roof, and honestly, this is the first month it's been under $3 in 30 days for quite some time, so it'll be a 4%, yeah.
So it is fluctuating.
It fluctuates, yeah. It
it's
hasn't been,
fluctuating.
it's kind of been like a flat line 6%, but
Okay.
normally it's 4%. But I was gonna say, Mayor, not a big fan of social media and surveys, because you're gonna get people that don't even live here that's gonna hit them. So what I would say is, if you can wait a couple of months, if you guys can come up with a little survey, you can put them in our bill. If you print them off, and then I'll call the mailer and say, hey, put this in our bill, deliver them to Tulsa.
We'll do that.
But I'm just gonna let you know, if I send out 5,000 bills, you might get 300 returns. So
We'll get something together for you.
and then if there's any cost that's associated, because normally one sheet of paper doesn't cost anything, because somebody's already printing it out. What costs me is printing it and getting it delivered, so.
Well, that'll be more people than vote, so.
I think if you guys can print them out, and if there's any additional costs that are added on, I don't think, because this is huge for the city, because.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the only one, like Bill said, in Oklahoma, that does twice a week.
Right.
I mean, and it's great, don't get me wrong, but it's hard on them. So, but our bills have already started going out now, for Zone 1's closed out, we got Zone 2 and 3, so you'll be receiving your March 1 bills. So we wouldn't be able to put it in until the middle of March, so when you start getting that, so that's when your April 1st bills are due, and we'll start collecting them, and then we'll ship them down to you, and you guys can do your little statistics and go there, but I'm just saying.
We'll put something together.
Don't expect a lot of stuff, because I send bills out, or stuff, about 3 years on natural gas awareness and ask questions and surveys and all that, and
It's that rule of 20%, right?
it's
Only
less than
20.
10%.
About
So
3%.
it's like 6 to 8, but yeah, just get with Josie and Jen, I'll let them know, and, but yeah.
Get it.
Facebook, social media surveys are.
All right.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I think, with the way the motion is, that if we go ahead and pass that we can get all of our facts and figures together, everybody can look at what they want to and get this on the
Yeah, so we take a vote for no action tonight,
yeah.
and you guys see where we're at with it, so. That said, let's call for the vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. Okay.
Charles, I appreciate your answer.
Oh, no, you're fine.
All right. Item 6, committee reports. Thank you, Bill. Budget and personnel.
Thank you.
You wanna-
Thanks, Bill.
Did you?
Oh, I'm telling you.
Shropshire,
Yes.
budget and personnel.
10th.
All right. Ordinance, insurance,
331.
and street maintenance.
Next Tuesday, the 24th.
Do you still need infrastructure there?
Yes. Yep.
Specifically Dale, or can we do Charles? Does it matter?
Probably doesn't matter.
Okay. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
I don't have any unforeseeable business. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second.
I got a motion from Choya and a second from Brashears. Call for the vote.
Steve,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
We're adjourned.
Next,
Public Works.
Well, you know what? I was excited. All right, we'll call to order. Skipping numbers, missing, all right. Call to order the Pryor Public Works Authority. Approve the minutes of the February 3rd,
Motion?
2026 meeting.
Contracts with any.
Motion.
We could keep it down a little bit, please. I have a motion from Choi and a second from Steve. Call for the vote.
did you say Steve?
Steve.
Me.
Stephen Brown.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Approve claims for purchase orders for the Pryor Public Works Authority through February 17th, 2026.
Motion?
Motion from Brashears and a second from Choya. Call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion from Steve and a second from Brashears. You can call for that vote when you're ready.
Baseball game?
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Trammell?
That was easy.
Steve?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Done.
You need to give some of that back.